I believe Oklahoma City right now is a colossal favorite in the series. I'm going to look up NBA West odds. I know they're like minus 180 to win the title, not to win the Western Conference. To win the title, they are like minus 180. So to win the Western Conference right now, minus 375. So the Vegas odds makers out there think Oklahoma City is an overwhelming favorite. I think they should be a favorite. Minus 375 is far too rich for my blood. That is a lot of money to lay for a team that, whatever you want to say about them, they could have lost in round two. They could have.
What's Minnesota then to win the West?
To win the West plus 300. I think that's a pretty good bet.
It's a great bet.
If I were betting, yeah, I would definitely bet on
Because
Minnesota.
let's dissect this. Oklahoma City, what we know about this team, underperformed last playoffs, defeated Denver in 7 now. Minnesota's been to the Western Conference Finals already. And kind of an underwhelming showing, like after that epic comeback to defeat Denver, to then kind of go up against Dallas and, Gobert got cooked by Luka. It didn't really quite
Anthony
have
Edwards
it.
was tired.
Yeah, like it just wasn't a great showing in the limelight. So I think for me, I always tend to like a team that's been there. I think that means something. And Oklahoma City hasn't been here. And Shea hasn't been here. Ant has. And you're right, Hen. Minnesota has not really been tested. But what did we say about Minnesota in the regular season? Taking their eye off the ball. They look lost. They're losing games they should be winning. What have they done this playoff run? They're just taking care of business, frankly. They're just taking care of business. They were not favorites against the Lakers. Took care of business. They should have killed the Warriors the way that they did, and they did. Game 1 was a disaster for them, and they bounced back. So I like what I'm seeing out of Minnesota coming in. I agree about the depth, the matchups, and I think Anthony Edwards is going to want to put on a show because in Anthony Edwards' head, he believes he's the MVP of this league. So he's going to want to take it to Shea and show him, like, oh, everyone's Shea. What about Ant? Don't forget about Ant. And Julius Randle's playing well. It's funny. The start of this season, we're like, who won, Minnesota or the Knicks in the Cat Randle DiVincenzo trade? The answer was both of them. They're both in the conference finals, and they're both getting a lot out of these players. So I am really high on Minnesota. I've been high on them all year. And I think they can beat Oklahoma City. I truly, truly believe that. And I think, Denver, in the games that they really got killed, I do believe they let go of the rope. I think Minnesota can't afford to let go of the rope here. And Oklahoma City can't afford to not put this team down. I just like the matchup. I think they're going to spread them out. Again, I don't think Chet is going to be a viable play here in this series. I just don't. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing out of him. Feels like it's going to be a lot more Hartenstein. I think the Timberwolves have a serious shot in this series.
I agree. I would pick Oklahoma City if I have to make a pick. I would pick them in probably 6. I think what we saw in that game 7 against Denver, I think they're going to really try and deploy that against Minnesota. I think they're going to throw a lot of bodies at Julius Randle. I think they're going to throw a lot of bodies at Anthony Edwards. I mean, look at the guys that they have to guard them. They have Cason Wallace. They have Lou Dort. They have Alex Caruso. They have Jalen Williams. Even Aaron Wiggins isn't a total defensive slouch. And you know what? In a pinch, Isaiah Hartenstein could absolutely guard Julius Randle. Like, there's such a incredibly versatile defensive lineup. I think they're going to really pose some problems for Randle and Edwards. But if you're going to call a spade, Randle's been fantastic this series. And you would have thought, oh, who's better equipped to guard Julius Randle than Draymond Green? And Julius Randle ate his lunch in that series against Golden State. Absolutely cooked him. That was not much of a contest. Totally outplayed Draymond Green. So it's going to be really interesting. I think they're going to try and get the ball out of the hands of those two guys. And I think they're going to try and make Naz Reid beat them. And we'll see. We'll see if Naz Reid can beat him. I don't think Shea is quite the like one-on-one mismatch attacker that like a Luka Doncic is. So I don't think Gobert is going to be rendered unplayable at all. And Oklahoma City usually at least has one big on the court. So this is going to be a Gobert series. I'm firmly confident in that. I just think the talent is overwhelming enough in Oklahoma City's favor. And I think there will be enough games that for at least in stretches of them, it looks like game 7 in that second to third quarter where, yes, Randall's been fantastic, but he looks a little bit more like the rushed New York Knicks Julius Randle that we saw a couple of years ago. And I'm going to lean on Oklahoma City. But for Minnesota, like I said, all those guys who can guard Anthony Edwards, Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso, none of them are built in a lab to guard Anthony Edwards, really. And can beat them all. Absolutely. And I think if he rises to the occasion and takes his level from, oh, this guy is a second team all NBA guy, one of the 10 to 12 best players in the NBA. And if he rises to the level of, oh no, this guy is right on par with Tatum and SGA and Giannis, then that bodes incredibly well. And the thing is, he has that ability in him. He absolutely can be the best player in this series, no question.
All the pressure in the world is on the Thunder. Minnesota has absolutely nothing to lose. And that's a very scary team to play against. They are telling themselves, no one believes in us, we shouldn't be here. You know, they have that motivation and they're hungry. Like Oklahoma City is hungry, but Oklahoma City has all the pressure in the world right now on them. Especially coming off of a 7-game series against Denver. If they took care of Denver in 6 or 5, obviously, different. Totally different, in my opinion. But I really think all the pressure in the world is on OKC.
As it should be. They're minus 180 to win the title. They are an overwhelming favorite.
And I think for Minnesota, that's right where they want them. They want to come in under the radar. And they're going to muck it up. Like, I know the Thunder are a great defensive team. And they foul, but they're not dirty. I could see Gobert like try to kill Chet Holmgren, and I think he might. Like I could see Ant talking and chopping it up and going at people. The Thunder don't really play like that. Like they're a physical team and they're a defensive team, but they don't muck it up. They don't make a mess of it, you know. And I think Minnesota's going to try to do that because that's where they're going to get their edge, you know. Like I just like a lot of the pieces Minnesota has to give Oklahoma City trouble. And I have to pick them because I've been picking them all year and I've been believing in them, you know, all year. So I'm going to keep going. At least one of my teams I believed from the start, you know, should get here. But I just think Minnesota, they've shown me more than Oklahoma City has, to be frank. And I know the Warriors were toast when Steph went down. But beating the Lakers was, dude, everyone was picking the Lakers. We picked the Lakers. Like, that says something to me. And to beat that Warriors team after that gross game 1 in 5, I think there's a level there that they've been waiting all year for this moment. That's why I think they've taken their eye off the ball. Oklahoma City has too, but Oklahoma City so quickly it was expected they would get here, just by the way they played. Yeah. Minnesota lost their way, and I think they're finding it. Julius Randle's lost his way. I think he's finding it. And even if he doesn't play like he's played, you know, in the playoffs, Ant can get them there. I don't think you need Randle to play at the level he played in the last series. I think Anthony Edwards can get you there.
I think I would disagree. I think you need a great Randle, and that's part of why I'm picking OKC because, again, I watched with my own 2 eyes how great Randle was these last few games and, frankly, the whole playoff run. I just think the defense that he's facing in Oklahoma City is another level. And Draymond is great individually, and the Warriors are a very good defensive team. They're not this Oklahoma City team. And I think you could tell me the series plays out in various different ways. I think more of the ways tilt to Oklahoma City. If it's a close game at the end, you're going basket for basket, Shea versus Ant, that's a wash in my opinion. I don't think Minnesota has a massive advantage there. Or if it's getting up and down, a lot of going down the court quickly, a lot of turnovers. Oklahoma City generates an insane amount of turnovers, so I think it tilts in their favor there. I There's going to have to be some different way that Minnesota attacks Oklahoma City in order to win this series, whether it be getting really aggressive on the offensive boards because Chet's not a great rebounder, and Isaiah Hartenstein, if he's off the court and Chet's the five, like, okay, you can get some rebounds, especially if Gobert's on the court and Randall is a good rebounder. I I just foresee more outcomes where Oklahoma City wins than Minnesota. I think Minnesota winning would necessitate, it is absolutely necessary for Anthony Edwards to outplay Shea. Like if Ant plays Shea to a draw or Shea wins the matchup, there is a 0% chance that they can win. But if Anthony Edwards beats Shea and it outplays Shea, there's still a chance Oklahoma City can win that series. So I think
I get that. I get that.
I think the fact that Ant needs to play better than Shea and Shea doesn't need to play better than Ant points things more in Oklahoma City's direction. I think minus 375 for OKC is absolutely nuts. I think that's a terrible line. I would guess a fair line would be minus 150 to minus 200. That's what I would place it at.